What's going on, everybody? It is Ebontis, and tomorrow starts a lot of stuff going on in the world of Destiny. And that's kind of weird to say as we're in April and it's not June in the final shape, but Bungie's gone pretty all out as much as they can for Into the Light. So we've got a lot of things coming, so this is going to be a recap of everything in case you missed a stream, a couple pieces of advice, and also an idea of what type of content is going to be coming from me. So the first one is Onslaught. This is going to be our wave-based activity. This is going to be your Horde mode, if you want to call it that. It's going to be 50 total waves. If you do the kind of non-playlist version, you can do it on normal difficulty. You can do it on challenge difficulty. Every 10 waves, you're going to be able to get a chest. If you're on the higher difficulty, you're going to be able to get 2 chests, and you get them after you go visit the pyramid boss room. And then there's also a 10 level difficulty where you knock it out 10 levels, you're done. See ya. So those are the 2 Horde mode based activities. One is going to be on Midtown, which is going to be this map, and then there's 2 others. They showed off the 2 other maps that are coming, or they showed off 3 PvP maps. I'm guessing a couple of those other ones are going to be used for this, but I'm not entirely sure which ones. So they really never said which other maps, PvP maps, the Onslaught activity was going to be on. So honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see, but it's probably not going to take you long when tomorrow actually gets here. So you're going to have different upgrades you're going to get. The upgrades, when they get destroyed, you will have to rebuild them again. So if you get a turret up to level 3 and then you go to see it destroyed, then you're going to need to get it upgraded all the way back up to 3 again. Start at 1, 2, and then 3. And then every 10 levels, you're going to move around sections of the map. So say if you do build a level 3 turret and it survives those 10 waves, then if you go to the little boss section, you come back, you go to a different area, that turret's still going to be out there. Now, if it's helpful for you at all, or if it sees enemies, who knows? And you may lose it, which I know some people are kind of give and take on that idea, but committing your resources per se to those earlier waves or those later waves, if you know you're going to come back in a cycle maybe, it's going to be some strategies to see how it plays out. But I am quite curious to see kind of how it goes. But that was most of the first stream. It was what's going to happen, what are you going to be doing, and it's going to be this activity, 10 waves for the small version, 50 waves for the big version, normal difficult, probably hero difficulty and legend difficulty. They said it probably the highest levels it's going to get up to Grandmaster. They don't expect anyone to solo it, but I would never underestimate Esoteric, so we will see how that goes. There's also a race for the top 3 teams to finish the higher difficulty of 50 waves first, and that's tomorrow. So whoever can jump into the higher difficulty, finish all 50 waves, and if they finish it first, they are going to get a chance to get the 7-inch tall statue helmet. I've actually got one floating around my office somewhere. Just a cool thing to kind of kick off a prize for the first 3 teams to do it. So it's 3 teams of 3, so there will be 9 of those. Probably going to be pretty tight timing and competition and numbers and stuff like that, I would imagine, just because it's going to come down to some, as it is probably the people who start the activity first are going to be the ones who are involved in that winning. So getting your server download fast, getting those types of things going, I feel like does have a bit of an advantage, but we will see. Other than that, that is the main idea of what's going on. You've got waves, you've got activities. If you do a bonus objectives, you might get some triumphs, so maybe your main defense point, but you've got to go follow a couple things that you've got to destroy farther down the path, kind of take you out of your safe zone per se, and then come back. So overall, I'm curious to see it, but that's actually not really going to be my focus. But there is some good stuff coming from that. So the second stream we got to, and they talked about the brave weapons, and that was most of what they did. They talked about the armor sets that are coming. That's these. They look honestly pretty good. As a Titan, I feel like we did all right. Hunters, I think you did good. Warlocks, a little less exciting, but overall, I think the Titan and the Hunter did pretty solid. They talked about the Brave Arsenal, and that is actually shown here. And I've gone through all of these weapons in a previous video. If you do want to see that, that's fine. Forbearance if you didn't get it from the raid. Succession, a good kinetic sniper. And they've got a lot of updated perks on these things too that are going to allow them to really be something that a lot of people want and can get use out of, even if you don't do raids with Forbearance and Succession. Falling Guillotine, that's a very old weapon, but if you need a good sword, there's a lot of perk combinations on here for it. The Recluse. I don't have a great Void SMG, and I didn't get a good roll on the title, so this is actually one of the ones I'm going to focus on. The Mountaintop, it's a unique grenade launcher. It is kinetic, but it's the micro missile thing. Gonna have some fun with that. Hammerhead's still a favorite when it comes to machine guns, rampaging, killing tally. That's damage stacking with damage, so that's a unique one. Blast Furnace, while I like the gun, it's pretty much just a PvP thought for me, not really anything PvE related. Edge Transit, if grenade launchers really do kind of come into their own, the perks here are going to set it up to be a very good weapon. Luna's Howl, I mean, this thing does have something like incandescent and kill clip, so depending on how you're working in a PvE setting, there's a few options, but probably mostly PvP here too. Midnight Coup, kinetic hand cannon, again, more of a PvP situation. Hung Jury for, I don't know, the 5th time I think we've had this thing. Not really excited about it. Elsie's Rifle is a Void Pulse, though. You got Repulsor, Destabilizing, Feeding Frenzy, Adrenaline Junkie. Couple different ones in here that have potential. Now, one thing is stated since these articles came out, and they did not actually change that here. So they state half of the weapons, Recluse, Hung Jury, Succession, Edge Transit, Elsie's Rifle, and Falling Guillotine, will be available on April 9th, tomorrow, when you guys are probably seeing this, or this morning when servers go live. The remaining will unlock one at a time each week through May 21st. They changed that to now all be fully unlocked by April 30th. So my guess is, since they shrunk it by 3 weeks, that it's going to be 2 new weapons every week out of the loot pool, and then throughout all of May, you're going to be able to farm all of them if you want to. So that's the arsenal. If you go through all of these, it makes me have a feeling that the artifact is going to be Void related, at least part of it, for Final Shape. I don't know if they're going to do quite as narrow focus on some of our damage types, but a lot of these are Void. Feels like it's been a little while since we have had Void. Maybe I'm misremembering, who knows, but Void seems on the table, so you might go through and grind some stuff to brush up your Void arsenal. Now, the big thing that happened for me, and what I'm going to be focusing on tomorrow, and if you guys want to come hang out on twitch.tv/Ebontis, I will be there. 2 things are going to happen tomorrow. One, there is going to be a second stream. That is not going to be, or there is going to be a 4th stream, but not related to Into the Light. Tomorrow, what we've actually got, if I can find where it shows it, here. Tomorrow, the bigger one is the Final Shape stream. They are doing a gameplay preview of the Final Shape. And it's been a while on Twitter since I've seen the Bungie devs go like, Bungie, and just kind of like, can't spoil anything, but very excited. That's tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. So that would be 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, and do your translation from thereof. I will be streaming that, and then we jump straight into the Light. Now, if you want a cool emblem, you can watch that one, this guy here. And if you watch 15 minutes of the stream tomorrow, you can get this emblem. Kind of cool. I dig it. But that one I'm excited to see, because that's probably one of our final teases for Final Shape. Too many finals in there. But outside of this, they might do a couple of sandbox tweets, ability updates, things like that as we get closer to Final Shape. But a lot of it's going to be saved for launch, I would imagine. They do mention Pantheon. That starts on April 30th. I will be out of town for that, but we will check it out when we get back. But they say it's a raid challenge of bosses. Let's see if I can say this right. Face raid bosses in a weekly challenge with escalating difficulties and rewards. Now, a gauntlet of raid bosses, if it's just go do this raid and do this raid, I don't know if that's going to be that exciting. They can actually give you checkpoints for bosses, and you work through those like boss checkpoints. That actually might be cool. I wouldn't hold your breath on it being anything awesome, but I mean, Pantheon is very specifically going to be like related to like the gods we've killed and the big bosses. Kind of hoping it's cool, but we shall see. You can do character recustomization if you want to change your character's body, face, hair, so you can take your helmet off and not hate it. The PvP maps, the 3 Crucible maps are coming on May 7th. So that's going to be a month after launch. And this is also when one of the 2 exotic missions is coming. So I will get to that in a second. So the new PvP maps are coming in May, which does actually kind of make me contradict what I said earlier in the video to say that Onslaught will take place on some of the new maps. Apparently, I don't think so, because these are actually coming later, and Onslaught's going to be out for a month by then. But you got your Europa map, Neomuna map, and the Pyramid Ship map. I like the Neomuna one the most, I think. We'll have to see how they all play out. Not really an expert here. But the big thing for me that is happening tomorrow, come hang out on stream, we have reprised exotic missions. I will be doing a guide, probably very similar to my 6 or 7 year old guide that is out there, and it is my biggest video I've ever done. Probably not going to get that many views again. There's a lot more creators out there. But Whisper of the Worm, the Whisper mission, is relaunching. It's going to have some tweaks, but they also know what you're going to be able to do within the mission with like Eager Edge and Strand grappling around, and all of that type of stuff is going to be there. So they've made some tweaks. We'll see how it goes. I'm very curious. The combat is the part that you have to be fast about, so I will be very intrigued to see how all of that goes. So Whisper of the Worm, you're going to be able to get a craftable Whisper of the Worm. Not anything too crazy on the craftable perks, but there were a couple options in there that seemed to probably optimize it a little bit, like barrels and magazines and those kind of things, and stock. And then when it comes to the actual weapon itself, I know Outbreak probably had the better ones that had rapid hit and rewind rounds. Whisper, still going to mostly feel like the weapon itself, but it is the fact that it's still one of the coolest missions in the game that we've ever had. Just the angularity nature of the level, the puzzles that are in there, those are going to be new. We're going to be searching for different chests and things like that. They're going to have two different difficulties. Normal difficulty I will do first. That is a 40-minute total mission to get through. So I will do my easy mode guide for that one, just because that will be the easier one, less time crunch. Optimal run through for the higher difficulty. We will be working on that one maybe for Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday. And then 0 Hour is supposed to launch in May. My guess it would be May 7th, along with the PvP maps, because Pantheon is going to launch on April 30th. And they also said 0 Hour was going to launch in May. Pretty much what that would do is give Whisper 3 weeks. Then you've got Pantheon. Then you've got 0 Hour for 3 weeks, because you're going to be able to get like the perk upgrades, like get the intrinsic perks of 1, 2, and 3, like we've done with other craftable exotics. And at that point, then you'll have one more week, probably after the 3 weeks of 0 Hour, to wrap everything up for the final shape. So that's pretty much everything that is coming. So we've got Onslaught on Midtown and 2 other PvP maps. We'll see what those are, but it's not the new ones because they don't come to the game soon enough. You've got the Brave Arsenal with a lot of weapons. Definitely some Void ones to consider. If the artifact is Void related, start thinking about those kind of Void builds. And then you've also got exotic missions coming. And craftable exotics, weekly quests for those to work on upgrading them slowly. And you've also got ships from the challenge versions of the missions. I would imagine that's where they're going to be at. And I think that covers most of it, if I remember correctly. So Pantheon on the 30th. That's going to be the middle kind of like dividing line. Tomorrow, you've got Onslaught and Whisper. And then May 7th, you've got PvP maps and 0 Hour. And I think once all of that stuff is out, like if you watch the previous streams, you could have got those 2 emblems. They've got some changes with regards to Into the Light balance updates, like breach load grenade launchers impact damage is up a little bit, but they took down disoriented grenade launchers, so that'll help. Also, probably will be helping magic missile. Not magic missile, that's like a very basic thing. We'll be helping mountaintop a little bit. Precision auto rifles in PvP, you'll feel that lower in damage. Hand cannons getting some tweaks. A lot of this is PvP related. Whisper of the Worm's going up to 24 bullets though in total, which will be nice. 1,000 Voices getting a bigger magazine. Quicksilver getting a bit of a nerf, so you're depending on that one, you might look at considering to change your loadouts. Forerunner and Last Word getting a little bit of a damage boost. Some perks getting changed. So I went over all this on the podcast previously. Strand fragments are going to get easier to get. If you do want to skip the entire tutorial for New Light and just jump in, you'll be able to do that. Actually, just pretty much skipping everything and letting your friends take you through just about all of it. And you get kind of one of these basic starter kits. So if you got friends who you want to bring in, now is actually a reasonable time with all the stuff they're going to give to us. But if you guys want to find me tomorrow, right before the Bungie Final Shape stream goes live, I will be live on twitch.tv/Ebontis. And then for guides, it's going to be Whisper of the Worm first, then probably something over Onslaught on Wednesday. Friday, I've got a non-Destiny related thing that I will be posting there. Thursday, if I can get a higher difficulty run of Whisper done in a couple of days, that's kind of my goal to put it up there. And then depending on how things go from there, that's kind of the content you'll be seeing from me. So hopefully this update helps you guys. If you did enjoy this one, or it reminded you of a reason to jump into Destiny tomorrow, I think we got a lot of good stuff. Yes, there's a lot of reissues, but I'm kind of curious to see it all fresh and on my PC because it's been a while and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing all that stuff. So hope to see you in stream. Other than that, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, drop a comment, drop a like. See you in the next video, or I'll see you on Twitch.